Turkey wants to see its borders stable. It wants to see stable borders in Syria, Iraq, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. When the area is destabilized, this hurts Turkey. Turkey doesn't want to have constant war on its borders. No country does.
Hear what you're saying completely. Hear what you're saying completely.
When there's chaos in the region.
Yusuf, let me stop you there. The link is breaking up again. We'll try to re-establish it in a better way. Yusuf Erim there from TRT World, Turkey analyst, as we heard there, with an assessment and another angle on this. Just a thought, 1989, before the breaking up, or before the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan over Nagorno-Karabakh, the population was 67% Armenian. It's a clear majority there, clearly for what was happening and what they wanted. Again, we talked, Jean, you and I, about this issue of having a place within a country and, of course, belonging to a different country. It's clearly going to cause issues which are clearly difficult to resolve, which is why there's been this constant state of various flare-ups of conflict. We've talked about Russia, we've talked about Turkey. The United States, part of the Minsk group, but in many ways absent on this. Is that one of the problems that the US, in withdrawing from the international scene as it is, and Donald Trump sort of like really sort of not hammering that nail home, is this causing problems, leaving a vacuum for other states to act, and I'll say Turkey, act in a way that is really within their own interests rather than the greater interests?
Well, up to now, it's not a problem. Everybody knows that the United States are in the middle of their campaign, and it will take some time before they come back. But I think the diplomacy exists even without a president. And the American diplomacy is well balanced on this problem. And as Mr. Baida aptly said, I think they are part, as France, as sort of wall against some excess from Turkey. But I would add one thing which is important. Everybody should know that the Azerbaijanese government, Mr. Aliyev, the president, can't get along with the status quo. It's not possible. And all the more that the legitimacy of the Aliyev dynasty is linked to the Nagorno-Karabakh problem. He has to deliver. That's why I think the Azerbaijanis will gain some kind of advantage. They will negotiate it, and at that moment, they will drop Turkey.
So basically, you're saying that Aliyev, the Azeri president, is under pressure to actually deliver on this issue. It's a big issue at home. He needs to deliver on this.
Pressure,
and this is why this is happening.
Yes. And from 1988 to now, every 5 years, 4 years, you had a big clash and even an all-out war in 2016. And now it's an all-out war. And as long as you have no solution, you will have such wars. So,
and given the pressure you've just talked about for the Azeris, I imagine for the Armenians, there is the same kind of issue. Can I bring back in Richard Girigosyan from the Regional Studies Centre in Yerevan? I'll put it to you, sir, or maybe you can clarify for us. Does the Armenian government have the same kind of pressure to make sure that Nagorno-Karabakh remains as it is or reintegrates further into Armenia? Is the same kind of political pressure there?
Well, yes. Let me start with the bad news. The attacks on the civilian population in Nagorno-Karabakh, well beyond the pale, well beyond the acceptable, has fostered a more deeply entrenched position of victimhood, victimization. Memories of the Armenian genocide issue, for example, are now much more firmly entrenched. At the same time, this makes the political dynamic even more difficult. But I agree very much with the ambassador's point. As an analyst, I'm more concerned about President Aliyev's condition, his vulnerability. He's riding the tiger in a risky, dangerous gamble on war and conflict. Every leader of Azerbaijan before President Aliyev has either come to power or has been removed from power only because of events in Nagorno-Karabakh on the battlefield. It's very risky, very dangerous. At the same time, I further agree with the ambassador. Once we return to the negotiation, Azerbaijan needs a face-saving way to let go of Nagorno-Karabakh, and concessions and compromise must be mutual. The territories outside of the borders of Nagorno-Karabakh are the only bargaining chips that Armenia and Karabakh can offer. This is pretty much the end state. Getting to the end state has been and is the problem. This is why even Yusuf has a good point. The status quo is untenable for everyone. Everyone is losing except Russia. This conflict gives Russia the leverage and the power over both Armenia and Azerbaijan. And for a final way out, we need actually a situation, in the words of the Armenian prime minister, that's equally acceptable to Armenia, Karabakh, and Azerbaijan. This is why everyone has to lose and everyone has